Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Co-op Podcast, episode 157. I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr., and today I'm joined by Mr. Gary A. Swaby. How's it going, Gary?
Hey, what's good, people? This is Michael A.
Yeah, terrible, terrible, horrible. And we also are joined by Mr. Michael A., the real Michael A. How's it going?
Yeah, how you gentlemen doing, man? It's good word, fellas.
Oh, yeah, we're doing pretty good. Allow me to apologize for the hiatus, if you will. I was out of town last week. Um, these guys had decided to do a quarterly report, if you haven't checked that out, talking about some of the games that they enjoyed the last quarter. So I definitely will recommend that you check it out if you want to hear that. But we are back for the co-op. We are definitely going to have a lot to discuss today. There's a lot of news happened. But before we do that, we want to basically talk about what we have been playing. So how about you go first, Gary, and let us know what you've been playing.
I've been playing The Division, of course. I'm still not level 30 yet, but I'm close now. I'm level 27, so not too much further to go. I know the incursion missions are coming out this week, I believe, this coming week. So I'll be looking forward to that. And I've also been playing a game that Brian Manjoma recommended, which is Senran Kagura, which is a crazy Japanese game with a lot of risque content. But the actual fighting mechanics themselves are kind of cool, especially if you're into like Dynasty Warriors style gameplay. So it's quite fun to just hop on and play a few rounds here and there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Sounds good. How about you, Michael A.? What have you been playing?
Um, Mainly Paragon on PS4. Paragon, Smite, and I got into the Division. When was it? I want to say I started it Friday, maybe Thursday night, Friday. And now I'm just trying to get to 30. I'm at 26 now, I think. So yeah, just been doing some grinding on the Division, but mainly Paragon and I got the Xbox version of the Division. I just got the Xbox version 'cause I like the controller. But yeah, mainly a lot of Paragon. Actually, I'm really digging that game. Smite's still my favorite MOBA though. Actually, I bought the season ticket for Smite on PS4. And I need to grind up to get it on Xbox as well. So I play it on both systems. So just to build the community and speak with people about it. So trying to think, is there any other new games I've been playing? Not really, actually. I need to look into that. So
All
Um,
right.
what do you think of The Division? Because I know you wasn't that fond of Destiny, but
Um, I like it a lot. Actually, I'm shocked by how much I've enjoyed it. There's a lot of content in the game. Um, Divisions. There's enough variation where I don't get tired. You know, playing missions. Like even when I play a mission type that I've played before, it's not like I'm playing that same mission every 5 minutes. It's like there's a lot of mission variation. The actual campaign missions are they're very well done with how they integrate the story, and the cutscenes are amazing. I like the story in the Division actually. It's a really interesting story. Um, like it does a good job of making you hate specific characters or making you question your morality because you can see where they're coming from behind what their motive is. Honestly, it's a really good game. And I feel like if I had never played Destiny, I would have gotten into it sooner. And I still think Destiny is trash. And the Division is everything Destiny should have been. So, yeah. I really don't really have many complaints about the Division, actually. Now I think about it.
Well, allow me to ask another question, which I think is probably a little bit more important of a question that Gary didn't ask. So you said that you started the game a couple of days, and you are already at 26.
Oh yeah, I've been grinding. Yesterday I didn't do anything but the Division for a good 10 hours or something like that. Like I grinded it. And I played the day before a lot as well. And I had my friends that were 30 come in and help me do some missions on hard rank and kind of like carry me through stuff to try and help me level quickly. And then once I got to 12, the leveling slowed down because I was solo. But yeah, I've just been playing it. I've been playing the hell out of it, and that's just the campaign. I haven't even done Dark Zone yet. Dark Zone has its own leveling and stuff like that. I haven't even started the Dark Zone stuff yet. I wanted to get to 30 first and unlock all the departments for in my base of operations before I even hopped into Dark Zone. I'm almost done with tech and security. Actually, I'm almost done with all three of them. So I need to just do. I need to farm some more encounters, I suppose, to get more supplies. And that's what I'm going to be doing probably today, maybe if I get on the Division. Kind of want to play Paragon today, so we'll see. And
Okay,
I've been
yeah,
watching a lot of anime actually. The spring 2016 season of anime started, so I've been checking out a lot of the new series of anime. So that's kind of gotten in the way of me gaming.
gotcha. Well, yeah, I just wanted to ask about that because I was a little concerned when you said you was already at 26 a few days in the game, and I was like, oh, wait a second now, but you said you didn't get into Dark Zone yet, so I guess that's okay.
Yeah, not to mention, I believe it's like other RPGs. Like even when you hit 30, um, there's like there's still in a single campaign. There's still like gear and stuff I have to go hunt for to try and get even higher level. Technically, I haven't done that yet either. I'm just still trying to get to that base 30 and get all my base of operations built up. And then I'm gonna be doing that grind and starting the Dark Zone as well. I know there's DLC coming out. The first DLC is coming out. I believe it's Tuesday. So
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get that and play because I know a lot of people who play the game. It's a fun game actually, so we'll see.
Sounds cool. Sounds good. So what I've been playing, well, actually, I just got back into town earlier this week, so I did start playing through Quantum Break on hard difficulty. Already at 79% of the, have 79% of the achievements. So just trying to finish it through hard so I can basically get the full 100. But as I said in my review, which is on the website right now, game is fantastic. Um, some people may complain about the graphics or the length of the game, but quite honestly, I think everything in the game is pretty solid. The story, yeah, the story is good, although there were some things that are not explained in full, and I think that the open-ended game experience, towards the end, you do know that there possibly is going to be another game in the series if, you know, Remedy decides to go in that direction. I think I definitely want to see Alan Wake 2 though because that story is still not completed. So, but yeah, Quantum Break, that was a game where when I first saw it, I was like, well, I really don't know if I want to play this game. I really don't. I mean, I know Remedy is a great studio, but I wanted Alan Wake 2 more than anything else. But now that I did get a chance to play through Quantum Break, I was pleasantly surprised by it. And the game is great. The gameplay is fantastic. So if you are a fan of third-person shooters that actually have a story that is actually pretty compelling, you definitely should try out the game. Now, if you don't have an Xbox One, I don't know if I would say you need to buy an Xbox One for this game because you should never just buy a console for one game. But it definitely is something to pick up if you already have an Xbox One. Um, and also if you have a PC with Windows on it. So definitely look into it if you're interested. Another game that I did get a chance to play yesterday was Battleborn because right now that's an open beta on PlayStation 4. Now this is a game that it's an interesting game in the sense that I guess you could call it a MOBA, but it's also a first-person shooter. It's very very similar to Overwatch. And the irony in that is that both of those games coming out next month. A lot of people are saying that it was a bad decision for 2K to release Battleborn so close to Overwatch. I don't really know if that's, a valid argument yet because Overwatch is only multiplayer, whereas Battleborn is a single player and a multiplayer and a story. So it's a little bit more to Battleborn. With that said, what I played so far are the story missions. Basically, drop in and out multiplayer story missions. A lot of different characters to choose from. Uh, the game itself is okay. I mean, the people who I play with were not very good at the game. We just have to put that out there. I think this is the type of game where you have to play with people um, and have some type of communication again for strategy purposes. Because yeah, I needed to have that yesterday. But with that said, I'm very intrigued by the game. I'm not quite sure yet if I will pay full price for the game because I haven't really seen a lot of what it has to offer yet. Um, but so far, I would say that if you are interested in it, definitely check it out. I mean, it is on open beta on PlayStation Now. That same open beta, I believe, is coming to Xbox One this week. So definitely check it out. Let us know what you think in the comments section, whether or not you think this game is interesting or boring or, not worth your time. But it is going to be very interesting to see how both games do next month because there's quite a bit of games coming out next month. One, of course, that we're going to be talking about in this show, Uncharted 4. You also have Doom coming out next month. So I'll be very interested to see, whether or not people are going to want to put time into either one of these titles when they got all these other games coming out that they can choose from. Also, Mirror's Edge, I forgot. That's another game coming out in May. So it's a ton of stuff coming out in May. Uh, oh, I'm sorry. My fault. April. Yeah, I made a mistake there. No. Well, actually, then in that case, it's not really that much competition because Uncharted is coming out in May and the other games are coming out later too. So we'll see how it does. But definitely check it out and let us know in the comment section what you think about Battleborn. Um, and that's pretty much all we've been playing. So we're going to jump right into the topics because there's quite a bit to discuss this week. Okay, so Gary wants to talk about this topic because this happened, during our hiatus of the show, where Square Enix had a huge conference for Final Fantasy 15, and they pretty much announced that the game is coming out September 30th. This week, a couple of days ago, actually, we also found out that Final Fantasy VII Remake episodes are going to be full-size games. So, Gary, why don't you give us your thoughts on this? Because, you are the one who's into Final Fantasy more. So you could tell us what you think of both topics.
Yeah, I was quite delighted about all the Final Fantasy 15 news. Well, I was actually sad because the conference went down when I was in bed because I had work the next day. So, I wasn't able to watch it live or anything. But I did catch up on all the news and announcements, and it's pretty interesting all the stuff that they're doing. It seems like they're going all out with the series basically because they've got the anime, they've got the movie, they've got a demo, they've got mini games coming out for mobile. So it seems like they're doing a lot with this Final Fantasy 15 world, and I'm quite intrigued. I heard some criticisms about the demo though, specifically the battle system. I mean, I'm a traditionalist, so I prefer the turn-based combat of the old Final Fantasy games, but I do respect that they're trying something new with the real-time combat. And I did play the episode Dusky demo that they released last year, and the combat, it wasn't perfect when I played it because there was issues with the camera while you're, fighting and stuff. But if it's anything like that but improved, then I'm not too mad about it. It seems like it's pretty action packed, so I'm fine with it. Um, but yeah, I guess we'll see. I still need to play the new demo that they released. I haven't played that yet, but I guess we'll see how it turns out. I'm hoping it will be good because I know a lot of people are down on Final Fantasy since the 13 series. A lot of people didn't like that, but I still enjoyed the 13 games. So as long as they know that they've got to bring it this time and come out with something that's superb quality, then I'm sure they'll do a great job with it. And from what I've seen so far, it seems really good, especially the visuals. So looking forward to that. As for Final Fantasy VII, it does seem like it's kind of, it does seem like this remake is kind of designed to milk the series because they know that this is the most popular game in the series. So remaking it means a lot, and the fact that they've already decided to split it into, I'm guessing, three full-sized games, it is quite concerning because really they could do it in one game. They could tell the entire story in one game if they wanted to, I think. So there's no reason for them to split it into three other than, wanting to milk it because they know people are going to buy it. But, hey, I'm still going to buy it anyway, regardless, because, I do love Final Fantasy VII. I didn't actually want them to remake it because I'm fine with replaying the old one over and over. But, hey, this is the world we live in. They're going to remake it anyway. So when it drops, I'll get it either way. So we'll see how it turns out. What do you guys think, though?
How about you go first, Michael A? What do you think?
I have no interest in Final Fantasy 15 and none in 7 remakes, especially 7 because I see 7 for what it is as a cash grab. Like people have been asking for a remake of 7. I don't know why. I think it's the most overrated RPG of all time, but that's a different discussion. People have been asking for a remake of Final Fantasy 7 for years, and it's like, why now of all time would you listen to them? Like you didn't listen to them when they were imploring you on the PS3 forever, And you even trolled them before when you did the remasters and it was just the PC version, stuff like that. Now you're gonna do it, and instead of doing it the right way, you're gonna do it where you separate it into 3 games and tell people it's 3 full-fledged games. So technically, they're gonna have to pay $180 US plus tax to get their Final Fantasy VII remake. I mean, it's a cash grab. I don't know what else to call it. I don't really condone that, and I'm not a big enough fan of Final Fantasy VII to waste my time or money on that. So I just don't care about that. 15 at least is the new Final Fantasy game. So I mean, I hope it's good, just because, and I hope I'm wrong for not really, being excited about it because it is a new Final Fantasy game. I know a lot of Final Fantasy fans like Gary and so on, and I'd like to see their loyalty rewarded with a quality title. And from what I know from what people who've played the beta said, like the demo, sorry, have said, like they all dug it. So they must be doing something right. I know the combat. From what I played, the combat is similar to Kingdom Hearts, I suppose. And I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan, so that's probably why I didn't really dig it. Also, this was like the early demo. I don't know if they've made any changes. 'Cause I think there's another one, or am I wrong on that? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But I didn't really like.
there's a new one that came out last week.
Okay, yeah. See, I haven't played that one. I played the one that was like last year, and I didn't really like the perspective. Like the camera seemed like it was too close on the player. I don't know. I just didn't like it very much. I haven't played the newer one. Maybe they've made changes and tweaks. I'll probably give it a try just because you have to be informed before you make a decision like that. So who knows? I'll give the new one a try. It's a very pretty game. I'll give them that. Like I really do dig the looks and aesthetics of the game. So we'll see. 15, I'm not hyped for, but I haven't completely written it off. But it's just more like I just don't like the Final Fantasy brand right now and what they're doing with it. Like I just don't like that. I don't like the whole, oh, we need funds. Let's release Final Fantasy VII now and milk it for as much cash as possible. Like it's like the same thing Capcom is doing with Resident Evil. Like I just don't like that. Like I
Yeah,
don't see the purpose. But
yeah, I do agree with what Charlie Kun said because he said they shouldn't have announced Final Fantasy VII while they're still promoting Final Fantasy 15.
I agree
Um,
100%. Yeah, me and him were talking about that on PSN 2 days ago, actually, and I
yeah,
agree 100% with him on that. Like, why do that? It's almost like you're undercutting. So it's almost as if they don't have faith in 15 meeting the lofty. Because I know they said they expected to sell 10 million copies to be a success, and it's almost as if they don't expect it to meet those expectations. So you have a backup plan that will just generate revenue for you. I don't know. It's kind of weird. And it's unnecessary too, because 13 was, I think 13 across all platforms is at 8 million sold, like and that's like regarded by most people as a really bad game, and that got like 8 million. So I mean, the 15 is good. the 10 million mark won't be an issue for them. They'll get there. So it's like, why not just focus on 15, then put your attention on Kingdom Hearts, which we still don't have any date for. But between 15 and Kingdom Hearts, then you release a Final Fantasy VII remake. And you have it all, and you can make a Final Fantasy VII remake be one really big endeavor and one disc, not one disc, sorry, and one release, so people only have to pay you $60 once for Final Fantasy VII remake, and you can put all that content that you're going to put into 3 games, you can still put it into one and release it at once. But yeah, what do I know, right? I guess that won't make them as much money when they know people will pay them for it because of the name. So. It's
Yeah, I
smart
mean,
business-wise.
it hurts to say it, but like you said, it is blatantly a cash grab because they're using the Unreal Engine. They're not even building their own engine for
Not
it.
even building their own engine for it. It's like, what?
So
Jesus Christ.
it's like they're keeping the costs minimal so that they can have a high profit margin, basically, for that game.
This is all going to be a deposit straight into the bank. This is what it is. So they can just have money, and they can fly in their jets and party in clubs. From a business perspective, it's intelligent, very intelligent. But from the perspective of someone who wants to play games, like, no, I'm good. Maybe I'd feel differently if I was a Final Fantasy fan like some other people, but Final Fantasy VII wasn't my first RPG, so I don't really get the attachment people have on it. I never have and I never will. And I damn sure wouldn't be paying $180 to play it again. Like, they can kick every rock they find on the mountain. Like, I'm good on that. So... But we'll see. 15, I'm still trying to. I'm not, like I said, I'm not checking the calendar for 15 every day or something. But I haven't completely written it off. I'll have to check out that new demo to see what that's like. When did you said that came out last week?
Yeah, it came out last week. I still haven't played it yet, but
I
apparently,
was wondering about that because I saw people on my PlayStation list playing it, and I was kind of like, are they playing that old one again? But I guess it's because the new one just dropped.
yeah, and apparently it's not actually in the game. It's not in the final game, like the stuff you play in the demo. So it's just like a
So
little.
they're doing like Bravely Default, where it's like you're playing stuff in the demo that isn't in the main game, but it's like its own kind of story that adds to it.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I like when companies do that. That's smart. So I'll definitely have to check it out then.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Rich. I was
Well,
gonna ask something, but I'll wait for you.
well, allow me to just say real quick, for those that are Final Fantasy fans and you've been listening or watching this show, feel free to leave your comments and go in on Michael A. and Gary for trying to put Square Enix on blast. Let me just say this right now. I did watch the presentation for Final Fantasy 15. I see Square Enix is definitely going all out with this, and that's good because you want to let people know that this game was announced a long time ago, even though it's changed names and it's gone through all this stuff with development, so on and so forth. So it's good to see that you are making the wait worth it with having all of this stuff. But I just don't know if they will reach those goals that they want to reach. I believe that they can reach them. No doubt about it, they can reach them, I believe, in Japan because, I would assume that the majority of the fans that really, really are deeply into the series is in Japan. I'm not saying that the fans here in the States don't really care about the series because a lot of them do. But it just all depends on what else is coming out. The thing about it is that now this is one of the first games we know is coming out this fall. We don't know what else is coming out this fall, aside from the fact that Gears 4 is coming out 2 weeks later, which, again, 2 completely different games. But we still do not know what else is coming out this year in terms of the fall lineups. We know rumors of things we've heard, but we don't have any confirmation on anything else yet. So, I think that we'll have to wait and see how that goes. The one criticism I do have about the what they're doing with Final Fantasy 15, the $230 Ultimate Edition or whatever the hell they want to call it, Collector's Edition. Perhaps you can answer this question, Gary, but I heard that a few of those episodes in the anime series, one episode you will only be able to see if you basically purchase that Ultimate Edition. that was something I heard earlier this week. And I don't really think that that's really a good decision. Of course, people will have access to it as soon as somebody gets it, and then they find a way to put that video online. They'll be able to watch that episode as well. But
Yeah,
I just
it will leak anyway, so people will get to see it anyway. But I mean, it seems really strategic. It seems like Square are really being strategic with this and Final Fantasy VII Remake, because they're putting out an anime series for free
mhm.
about Final Fantasy 15, and then the last episode just so happens to be part of the collector's edition, so you can't see it. So like they're getting people hooked in so that they'll want to buy the collector's edition and stuff, which that's it's really sly of them to do that. But but hey, but that was going to be one of my questions as well, like because they're doing all this extra stuff like the anime series, the movie, the demos, the mini games. Like, do you feel like all this stuff is necessary? Like, because I feel like people are already invested in Final Fantasy 15, and they're already gonna buy it no matter what, because it's Final Fantasy at the end of the day. Like, you gotta get the new Final Fantasy. So all this extra stuff they're doing, it's like, why are they doing it? Do they even need to do it?
Well, I personally, well, if I could be very candid, I haven't really played any of the Final Fantasy games in the series. I have a respect for the franchise because I know it's been around since I was a kid and possibly even before that. Um, so I have a little bit of respect for it, even though I have never decided to play any of the games. But the thing about it is that I don't think it's necessary to have all of this stuff. I personally didn't think it was necessary to have that long presentation that they had because I saw it from beginning to end. And some of these announcements, I'm like, well, I don't really know if that's necessary, especially when we already knew what the release date was because it leaked earlier in the day on a few other websites. So, but they purposely waited for that to be one of the close to last things. I thought the trailers were fantastic. I mean, the game looks interesting, intriguing. It may be one of the games that I finally do get a chance to play, try out. But again, it all depends on whatever else is coming out at the same time because I still don't know what's coming out in September. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some other games that I'm interested in that are going to be coming out that month, though. So we'll have to see how that goes. But do I think it's too much? Yes, I think it's a hell of a lot. They wanted to make sure that they covered all bases, that they got all type of fans that are interested in some degree, whether it's anime fans or whatever. They wanted to make sure they had all those people interested, and I think that the gamble will pay off. Now, the whole thing about having that $230 collector's edition, that's a little steep. But some are definitely going to purchase it because they've already said they have a limited amount that they're making. So, yeah, all of it is strategic. But, yeah, I think that I personally don't think all of the things necessary that they showed, but I understand why they did it because they want to make sure that they get everybody interested in this game. But how about you, Michael A? Do you think all of that stuff was necessary that they showed during the presentation?
No, most definitely not. I don't even think the presentation was necessary. They could have just said Final Fantasy 15, it's coming on this date. Thank you for waiting. Trailer's coming shortly. They could have put press releases and just made a formal announcement on their Twitter. That was it. Like the whole conference, I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't care. Like, this is just that was a waste of money and time. And like you said, like a lot of the information had been leaked before. I understand that the leaks weren't official, but it kind of makes you wonder, like who leaked the information from Square? Because somebody in the company had to have leaked it, possibly accidentally, but still. So like, I don't know. Like I said, I get why they're doing it. It's because they know their fan base and they want to capture the attention of that fan base and make sure people like Gary are there front and early to spend $300 on those editions of the game, and he'll be there.
I do want that though. I do want that.
See?
Like,
See? Mission accomplished then. So touche. I can't knock him. But for someone like me, like it had no impact whatsoever. and stuff like that kind of makes me just want to not buy the game out of spite. So I don't know, but I mean, with all the Garys in the world, they'll keep doing it. So.
Oh, and let me add, let me answer the other question real quick about Final Fantasy VII. You know, they did say before that the episodes were going to be very lengthy. I didn't know it was going to be full game size episodes. And again, I will, basically to echo the same statement that you just made, Michael A. I think that there will be a lot of people that will purchase those games because they'll be very similar to Gary in the sense where they want everything Final Fantasy. Um, they not only will they purchase all three of those episodes or how many episodes it will be, they'll also buy it again when they release the full version with all episodes already intact. So yes, they can
Yeah,
do
Exactly.
that.
I would literally do that though, because I'd buy all three of them separately on PlayStation, and then I'd buy the complete edition on PC if they do that.
Yeah. But just keep in mind, if you do that, make sure the PC version actually works because we know in the past they messed up some PC versions of Final Fantasy. You know this, so make sure it's optimized correctly and it runs well on the PC.
Yeah, they did mess up the first 13 port, but they tried to fix it later, and I guess they're just still learning. So yeah, I'll give them a pass this time.
Yeah. So that's pretty much is that pretty much it for Final Fantasy? You
Yeah,
guys,
I don't have much else to say. I'm just waiting to cop it.
so September 30th. You know, definitely stay tuned. We get some more information about the game or Final Fantasy VII. We'll definitely share it with you guys. Square Enix is going to be at PAX East. I will be at PAX East in about 2 weeks, so I'll let you guys know if they actually have more information there. But for what I understand, that's possibly not going to be discussed. But I'll let you guys know. Moving on to the next topic. Okay, as I mentioned already, Gears of War 4 is coming out on October 11th. There was a reveal that came out earlier today on the official Twitter account, and there's actually going to be it was a teaser earlier. It's going to be a full reveal tonight during the Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, basically season premiere. So, what are you guys expecting with this reveal? That's what I'm curious to know. How about you go first, Gary?
Um, I really don't know what to expect at this point. I mean, I do like Gears of War. I liked, I never beat the first game, but I loved Gears of War 2 and 3. Enjoyed playing them. So I am interested in playing this one. Whether it's going to be on the Xbox One or the PC, I'm not too sure yet. But I don't know what to expect because I know that after they showed that the first teaser, a lot of people weren't that impressed. I think it was a mixed reaction. But yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm just waiting to see what happens. I'm just gonna get my popcorn, and I'm gonna wait and see what happens. And then once they show whatever they're gonna show, I'll figure out whether I actually want to buy this game or not. Because I don't feel like it's gonna capture that same feel as the previous games. But if it has more of the same gameplay, then I guess I'll be satisfied enough. But I just don't feel like the story is gonna hold up. I'd like to hear what Mike thinks though, because I know he's really into Gears of War.
Me personally, I think what they're going to do, especially since especially due to where they're revealing the trailer, I think they're going to focus on the horror elements of the game, like the kind of like I know they announced already that they're trying to make this game much more scary and survivalist than previous Gears of War, and I'm fine with that actually. Um, Gears is a game that kind of got stale after a while because it was very formulaic and it relied on that formula too strictly in all three of the games, um, and which is ironic because a lot of the fans complain that it's changing too much. And I'm like, it really hasn't changed that much in all honesty, other than Judgment. Um, So I'd like to see them try and do something, different. And the people over at Coalition, I want to see what they do with 4. I'm assuming it's going to be very horror oriented, very survival oriented. The gameplay in terms of the engine probably won't change much, as it shouldn't. Um, but I want to see, I want it to be a darker game, because as you notice, as Gears went on, it started very dark and grim in 1. The game was very black and gray and blue and just dark. And as the game progressed, it got brighter and brighter, and it kind of changed what you expected from Gears. If you'd only played Gears 1, you'd expect Gears 1 to be a dark and kind of grimly game. So I'm happy that 4 looks like it's going back to that. We'll see. I'm going into 4 with a complete open mind. I don't really have any expectations, unlike some people. I just want it to be a good game, and I'm going to give them a chance to make a good game. So I don't watch Walking Dead or whatever that is. I don't watch those kind of shows, but I'll wait for the trailer to be uploaded afterward and definitely check it out. So I hope it's good. I don't really care if the trailer's good. I just hope the game is good. So, and October is actually a pretty good window to release it. So it's a very interesting decision.
Yeah, I pretty much. Oh, we had an echo. Well, who's that?
Hello. Yeah, I still hear the echo. I think it's coming from my.
All right, there you go. Yeah, okay. So I pretty much agree with everything Michael said about. I really do think they are going to play up the horror element. I personally, when I saw the first trailer from E3 last year, I mean, I appreciated that there was a horror element, but I still think that was not really the best trailer that they have shown yet. So I think that we're going to definitely see that reveal at E3. I'm not expecting a huge reveal tonight. Maybe just again, they'll tease a little bit about what the game is about. It's going to be a very quick. I think it's going to be a very quick trailer. I don't think it's going to be anything lengthy at all. I could be wrong, but I mean, again, I think that E3, that's when you're going to see the gameplay, the full, a walkthrough of something, and that's where it's going to be at. What I will say is this: I do believe that Microsoft is doing an excellent job with the marketing decision of having this trailer air at this time, because not only are we seeing the first reveal during the Fear of the Walking Dead, but I would imagine that now that we know the game is coming out October 11th, I once again see them releasing a trailer around that time, right when the season 7 of The Walking Dead premieres. And the thing about that is that Walking Dead season 7 season premiere is going to be a very big deal for obvious reasons if you didn't see the finale, because a major question gets answered. So there's going to be a ton of people watching at that time, which will, of course, they will then see this trailer for whatever it is when the game is about to come out or whether it's already out at that point. So very good decision by Microsoft to have this little thing going on. But I really don't expect anything major tonight because it's still relatively early. We still have a couple of months to E3, and they have a lot more to do with the marketing, plus they still have to finish the game. I don't really know how far along they are, but I would assume that they would be close to being completed since they've already announced the release date. Hopefully that doesn't get delayed or pushed back. But yeah, I definitely am expecting more horror, and I think that's a good thing. A lot more dark stuff to deal with. I'm assuming that Marcus Phoenix will be in this game in some capacity because the statue that they show, he basically is the statue that they show in that teaser. So I would assume that he will be playing a role in the game. Don't know if he will be actually out there playing alongside his son, but we'll have answers to all those questions soon. But I'm looking forward to the game. Now that we have a release date, we know what the box art looks like. Definitely looking forward to the game. It looks interesting, intriguing. Wasn't a fan of Judgment. As long as they don't do anything like Judgment, then it will already be 20 times better. Because Judgment, that could have just been additional DLC added on to 3, in my personal opinion. It didn't really warrant a separate release altogether. But that's what you say. That's what happens when companies try to milk a game to try and get more money out of the franchise. So I do think that 4 will be better, but we'll see what happens. Any final thoughts on this topic before we move on to the next?
Uh, no. I mean, do you watch Fear of the Walking Dead?
Well, no, not really. I did watch The Walking Dead all of season 6. Um, I do have something to say about that a little bit later. But while that was going on, they were showing episodes of Fear the Walking Dead to try to get people excited for the premiere, which happens later on tonight. It's a very different show from what I have seen to some degree. I'm just not really into it because I don't know who any of these characters are. I don't really know if I would take the time to really examine any of these characters. And then plus, the other thing is they're starting this season right at the time when the NBA playoffs are about to start. And that's all I'll be watching. So I don't really foresee myself watching A Fear the Walking Dead. I will watch tonight specifically to see this trailer, and then I will just say, all right, that's it for tonight. I can just, play games for the rest of the evening or something else. I really don't think they're going to get my attention, but I will see the trailer and leave it at that. So we'll see. Any final thoughts on this topic?
No, not from me.
All right. I guess we can move on to one of your favorite franchises. We're going to talk about that right now. So pretty much earlier this past week, the same day, I believe this happened around the same day the Quantum Break released, we actually got some information regarding God of War 4 because there was some screenshot and some details that leaked. So according to Nerd Leaks, I believe, and NeoGAF, collectively, both sites, we now know that Gears of War 4 is going to deal with Norse mythology. Here's a quick listing of all the stuff we know. We know Kratos is back.
I think you mean God of War. You said Gears of War 4.
Oh, whoa, sorry. See, yep, see. Thank you for correcting me. Sorry, guys. Yes, it's been a long, long, long day. So here's some quick details we know from God of War 4. We know that Kratos is back. He has a beard. The setting is, as I already mentioned, Norse mythology. Kratos will visit Altheum, the land of fairies, one of the 9 worlds and home of the light elves. And they have a lot of screenshots which we will post in this so you guys will know what we're talking about. And we know that Kratos is also going to be in 1 or more prisons. He has an axe this time, which he also uses to cut vines and create bridges and walkways. And the surrounding environment could interact with the character. So in other words, if Kratos brushes up against the vines, they expel they reveal visible spores. So a lot of this stuff we still don't know a lot of details about. What we do know, though, is that Norse mythology, Kratos is back, and, I guess he has a beard now. What do you guys think of God of War 4 going in this direction in particular? And when do you think that this game is going to potentially come out? How about you go first, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, I respect that they're, changing the mythology and stuff, and they're going with Norse mythology, but I feel like they didn't need to have Kratos in it, though. They could have created new characters, because, I don't know, it just seems, the concept seems kind of weird to me to have him cross over to Norse, when he was just in Greek mythology. But, yeah, I mean, hey, there hasn't really been a bad God of War game. I enjoy the gameplay for the most part of all of them. God of War Ascension, the story was kind of unnecessary, I feel like, but I still really enjoyed the gameplay itself. So hey, as long as they bring good gameplay and the story is, reasonably good, then I'm already invested. I'm already there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Let me make a very quick comment about this. I understand what you're saying about they could have made this game and not have Kratos in it, but I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about that, man. I really think Sony knows that Kratos is an iconic character, so one way or another, he was going to be in this game. For that reason, because they know you can't make a God of War game without this guy. This is a badass character that just doesn't give a damn about anything. So you have to have him in there in some way, shape, or form. They could have maybe they could be using him to build another character. I mean, we don't know anything yet, but I think no matter what, he was going to be in this game because it's Kratos.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. He is really iconic, I guess. So they don't want to get rid of him because they know that he's probably going to sell the game. Like you could probably just tell people, "Hey, there's a new game with Kratos in it," and they'll probably just go buy it because they know they're familiar with that character and they enjoy those games. So I mean, you don't even have to tell them that they're changing the mythology. Like just say, "Yeah, it's a new God of War. Kratos is in it," and people are going to buy it, pretty much. So. I understand, why they kept him in it, but me personally, I would have liked to have seen new characters completely. But hey, it's
well,
business.
oh yeah, no, it's definitely business. But if they use him in a way in which to build another character, that would be a very good idea. Um, because then when you have like if this is the start of a new trilogy or what have you, then that other character can be the focal point of the next game. But I really don't know what their strategy is. I would assume that maybe we'll hear more about this during E3 this year. Because I mean, now that these details have leaked, I would think that sooner or later we're going to start to get more information. How about you, Michael A? What do you think?
Um, Personally, I don't know why they're bringing it back. I don't know. They should just let it end at 4. People are gonna be mad. I don't really care. I don't want another God of War game. I didn't like Ascension at all. It had no. It shouldn't have even been created. Like, hold on.
Uh-oh,
Oh
that's
well,
not.
somebody was calling him out on those comments.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's basically what happened. But no, yeah. So basically, I hold on. My roommates are just outside.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not.
his roommates didn't like those comments. It sounds like they're fans of God of War. Like, you know,
Yeah, I mean it's Kratos though. You have to. I think that they had to have him in there one way or another. Um, unless the game is going to be called something else. That maybe it shouldn't be called God of War if he's not in it because it won't be the same game. Um,
yeah. I'm trying to think of an example of a series where they've changed character. I'm sure there's one. Um, I mean, Final Fantasy doesn't count because it's not a continuation anyway. But Mass Effect, the new Mass Effect, they're having new characters entirely, and people are still interested. So,
well, yeah,
you know,
that's a very good point. With Mass Effect though, yeah, I mean that was the end of one trilogy and I guess the starting of another one. Uh, I mean that's a pretty good point to make, but I'm not sure whether or not that's going to be successful either. But then again, they've already made it clear that Shepard is not in this game at all, so the fans should know to prepare for a new experience. Um, we'll have to see whether or not that pays off, but I think with God of War, um, it's not going to be the same without Kratos unless it all depends on how they execute and how they do it. Like I said, if they're introducing a new character in this game that is going to take over the mantle for Kratos, that's great. But they have to definitely make that clear because I don't know what they're doing yet. I guess we'll know more once they reveal it at E3. Um, but we'll have to see how that goes because I have no idea how it's going to go. So
sounds like I think Michael A is still getting told off by his
yeah,
roommate.
yeah, that's what happens. You know, Kratos was probably there and decided that he wanted to make an example out of Michael A. for speaking negatively about him. So that's all right. Um, he could come back and chime in on that topic as he so whenever he gets a chance. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one, which is Capcom has admitted that they underestimated the popularity of single player with Street Fighter V. So you asked the question, do we believe them? Um, I want to say something about this topic right at the very top of this, and then I'm gonna let you say what you want to say.
And I'm back. Sorry about that. My friend was hyped because he just got confirmed the beginning a review copy of the new One Piece fighting game.
Oh, that's what all that yelling was about. Okay,
Yes.
all right. So
As lame as that is. Sorry.
okay, so we had jumped to another topic, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and let us know what you think about God of War again. So continue. Go ahead.
All I'm saying about God of War is this. I don't need another game. Let it go. You can come up with if you really want to bring back a franchise that people love from PS3 to play, give me Heavenly Sword 2. I'd buy that. Like I love that game. I don't need God of War 4. I don't need God of War. I don't need Kratos arbitrarily going into Norse mythology. Why? Why Norse mythology? I don't even see the connection. I could have understood Egyptian mythology more than Norse mythology. That would have made way more sense. And Norse mythology is cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan actually, but again, I don't need another God of War game. It's like I don't understand people's desire to say that certain people milk franchises. We'll just keep it nameless. I don't want to call any specific people out yet. They want to say that certain franchises are milked, right? And then in the same breath, they celebrate another franchise being milked because it's on their platform. I will never get that. There is no need for a new God of War. Sony has a plethora of titles they could bring. They already have new IPs coming, A, which are that all look promising, and B, they have a catalog of other IPs they can go back to from back in the day and bring. I'm still waiting for a Siphon filter on the main console. I'm not getting that though. I'm getting another freaking God of War game. No, that won't even touch my PS4. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. So yeah, I just don't care. And if you're mad about that, I don't care either. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. This news doesn't make me excited. It just makes me scratch my head and think, all right, well, back to the nonsense that I despise. So, but I mean, if you're happy about it, hey, it's your money. Spend it how you like. That's it.
Yeah. Well, hey, I definitely respect that opinion on it. I was going to say, well, yeah, we are getting a Heavenly Sword too. It's called Hellblade. Um,
No, I want Heavenly Sword too. You know what I mean. Don't pull that. We're not getting a God of the Hill. No. We're getting a new God of War.
yeah,
Give me a new Heavenly Sword. Give me a new Siphon filter. No, we're gonna give you God of War because Kratos and I just don't care. So
well,
maybe someone in the comments can explain the excitement because I don't see it. And Ascension, I don't care what Gary says. Ascension was not enjoyable at
well,
all. So
well, you know,
I think it was the gameplay itself, not the story. Like the story kind of sucked, but like I enjoyed the actual gameplay of it.
well, I think, I mean, listen, I do agree 100%. I do want to see another Siphon filter. I don't know if that will ever happen. I guess if the fans demanded enough of it, then they will explore that again. But as for God of War, no doubt about it. I also did not really, I wasn't really compelled to try Ascension because to me it did look like it was nothing like God of War 3. I think with God of War 3, you had the epic boss battles, just the brutality and the violence. I personally didn't think they could top that with Ascension because that to me felt like it was a cash grab. But this one as well. I mean, now that I know it, it's another God of War. I mean, yeah, I'll be very curious to see what exactly this is. I mean, I'm looking forward to the reveal at least to see what it is. But perhaps there is a bigger plan for this because, as you recall, Stig, who was in charge of a project over there at Sony. They were working on another project, but that got canned. And then I guess they decided, well, let's stick with this franchise because this is a franchise we know is going to do well. So, I mean, we'll see whether or not that was a wise decision later. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to deny that I am intrigued at least to see what it is, and then I'll make a determining factor as to whether or not that'll be something I purchase. But pretty sure that I will be interested in it. So we'll see where that goes. So, any final thoughts on God of War?
I mean, I'm just saying. Let me think about it. So, what's going to happen? Kratos is going to go to Northern Europe, and then he's going to kill Thor and Odin and Ymir, and and Tyr and all these. Like, why? Freya, all these characters just killed. Why? What are they gonna do after Norse mythology? Like, is he eventually gonna fight Jesus? Like, how long are they gonna take this? Is my question. Like, what pantheon of gods is not safe from Kratos? Like, he's going to kill all the gods, right? So does that include, like, will he eventually get to Christianity, or is that off top? Is that too taboo? Like, I just don't get the appeal. I don't understand.
Yeah,
like I
like
said, someone break it down for me because I don't get it.
in an ideal world, God of War would have just been what it was, and it would have been set in the Greek mythology, and it would have ended after 3. But because they're a business and they need to carry this thing on, I guess that's why they've finally made this decision to change the mythology so that they have a reason to continue it, which kind of sucks. But hey, I mean, if they're gonna do this, then I mean, Norse mythology is interesting anyway, so I guess
True.
that's the plus side. But yeah, it is kind of sad that it's basically Kratos against mythology now
Yeah.
instead of it just being a self-contained story about Kratos that spanned 3 games or 3 main games, pretty much.
Because the
So
motive before was, oh, these gods directly did something to me. Ares did something to him. And then you find out that it wasn't just Ares. Zeus, who's actually his father, somehow, what the fuck, which technically makes him a part god, so he's a hypocrite because he wants to kill all the gods. And then he kills himself, but he's not really dead, so he failed at killing all the gods, which makes him technically a failure. But anyway, he has a direct issue with the Greek gods. What the hell is his issue with the Norse gods? Like, they haven't done anything to him. So he's just going to be killing all gods for the sake of humanity. Why? Like, I'm sure that, they'll find a way to explain the story. No, think about it, what they've explained in the canon of God of War so far. Like, what have they haven't even mentioned the Norse gods. So what could they have done to Kratos' life directly? Did they do anything? Did they make him kill his family or anything like that? No. I mean, hell, even in the God of War games where he started killing gods in the Greek pantheon that actually didn't even do anything to him. They just stood in his way, or because they were gods, they killed him. Except for Aphrodite, of course, because, well, he didn't kill her. He just gave her the pipe. I don't really blame him. But, that's the only one that he kills Hercules, technically his brother, because his brother stood in his way. He just kills him. Like, there's no, like, what is I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too deeply into it. It is a game. The God of War isn't really a deep game like that. But I just expect it to be because there are elements of the game that are very well done. Like, the voice acting in that game is superb. The visual aesthetics of the game are very alluring. So I get the appeal from that aspect. But I just don't understand why you have to go kill Norse gods now. Why? The moment Kratos kills Thor, like, I'm done. I don't really care anymore. I swear to God, if that new game, there's any point in time where Kratos can wield Mjolnir, he can pick up that hammer, worst game ever created. You know what? I'm done. Let's just move on.
I think they'll definitely explore that just because the Thor character is so like popular now anyway. I'm pretty sure they're gonna
I swear to God.
find some way.
Well. Let me just say this. I will give a shout out to him Deal in the comment section on the actual post because he did ask the question. Well, what if it isn't Kratos? Because I mean we don't really know any other details other than the leaks that we saw. So maybe perhaps it could be. So what?
That's I will say that. No, that's a good question, and I agree. If it's not Kratos, then it's interesting because then they're basically just using the franchise and they're starting over with new characters completely instead of just, well, we know people love Kratos, so we're bringing him over. So I could see that. I could see that. I could see that if it's like a Norse hero, like that's the equivalent of Kratos, that the gods have wronged or done something to. So I could see that. But if it's just Kratos going to Northern Europe to kill them for no reason, no, I'm good. I'm good. He should be dead himself. Let him stay dead.
Yeah, he
Kratos
should
should
be.
be dead. So let him stay dead. He is. If he's not dead, I yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Well, he did. Well, he did survive at the end of three, right? Right, Gary? You could confirm that his body wasn't there at the end of the game.
Well, there's theories on that. I can't even remember exactly what happened. It was a long time ago, but yeah, he's supposed to be dead pretty much. So yeah.
Well, we'll have more information sooner rather than later. Again, E3 should be very interesting. So we'll just wait to see if any other leaks come out before then. But we'll just wait for E3 to get the official news on this. But let's move on to the next topic. We already had started discussing this, and basically the question was, basically we were talking about Capcom and the fact that they admitted that they underestimated the popularity of single player with Street Fighter V. And while Gary asked the question, do we believe them? I wanted to answer this very quickly, and I want to just go ahead and say right now, no, I do not. Let me tell you why. From what I recall, there was a statement released prior to this game coming out in which they said they wanted to mimic something similar to what was being done with Mortal Kombat in the way that they tell their stories. So if you're going to mimic it that way, first and foremost, you should know the storyline cannot be just a couple of matches and then that's it. That's all. Obviously, they have the cinematic story elements that are coming into play, which I think are going to be coming out sometime in June, which is fine. That's what people wanted. But they already said in the beginning, and they set this up perfectly when they said they wanted to make something similar to Mortal Kombat. But let's keep it real. Let's just keep it real right now. Mortal Kombat, that has to be one of the best ways that a narrative is done for a fighting game that I have seen, period. Not just this generation, because the last Mortal Kombat last generation was also fantastic. So that already was an ambitious goal for them to try to take it in that direction. So, no, I don't believe them, because since they already said that's what they were going after, they didn't quite reach that goal, and, it is what it is. But what do you think about this topic, Michael A? Do you think that do you believe Capcom when they say that they underestimated Street Fighter V single player mode?
No, but I think it's them. They're trying to say something they know they can't say because casuals don't want to accept it, and it's stuff that I've been saying and other people that are really into fighting games been saying. They don't matter in terms of the longevity or the sustainability of a fighting game. They really don't, because most people who play fighting games don't stick with those games. They move on to other games. That's how casuals are. It's the people who stick with the games that matter, because those are the people who get the DLC. Those are the people that play at tournaments. They develop tech. They're the people you watch play. They matter. And what happened with Street Fighter V was they probably realized that with Street Fighter 4, when people were buying and playing that game, yeah, it had a story mode, but nobody talked about Street Fighter 4 story mode. It was completely forgettable. I've played it, and I don't remember Street Fighter 4 story mode. It didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. What really mattered was the core gameplay and some of the single player elements that impacted players improving. So the training mode, the challenge mode, those things were key. And on that, Capcom completely dropped the ball. There's no reason Street Fighter V should not have launched with challenge mode there, because then the only way people could get better at the game was just playing online. And for a lot of people they may not be hardcore fighting game fans now, but they potentially could be, and they wanted to learn the game. The tools for them to learn the game weren't there. But for some reason, there's this strong emphasis on story mode and all of that. I don't really think that matters. Like even with Mortal Kombat that people go to, yeah, it had story mode. Mortal Kombat 10 story mode is, in comparison to other fighting games, amazing. I prefer Mortal Kombat 9 story mode, but that's a different discussion. But honestly, right now in 2016, who's playing Mortal Kombat story mode? Nobody. The people that play Mortal Kombat now are playing online versus people. They're playing, they're in the dojo practicing, or they're doing the towers, like the old school towers where you fight enemies, because they have weekly towers, daily towers that rotate, which is a pretty cool element actually. And people are playing that. Same thing with Killer Instinct actually. Killer Instinct released and didn't add their story mode till later, and it's there, but no one's talking about it. When people talk about Killer Instinct, they talk about the new characters that are coming. They're talking about the amazing online netcode that the game has. They're talking about the dojo that really does a great job at teaching people the new game. And there's a bunch of new features coming to Killer Instinct Season 3, but those features all revolve around the person playing the game outside of a story mode. Like story mode isn't really that big of a deal in fighting games. It never has been, and it never will be. It's not a driving force. And the fact that for some reason these people who wanted to buy Street Fighter V and supposedly didn't because the story mode wasn't there, you want to spend $60 to play a story mode in a genre of games where story mode doesn't matter, just so you could stop playing the game after that. That makes that is the absolute dumbest thing I've ever heard. It makes no sense. You aren't going to, even if Street Fighter V had launched with the story mode, you would not be playing it right now. We're in April. You would have beat the story mode by now. There's no replayability there. There's no reason for you to go back. You'd be playing the regular game and you'd be getting bopped online, and then you'd have taken it to GameStop and traded it in. This is what casuals do. So I don't really buy them saying this. I think what they did was something that a lot of people don't like hearing people do, but other genres wish game developers did. They focused on the core players. Like you see this in first-person shooters a lot, or even third-person shooters. They'll complain that like especially in Gears. Gears of War is a prime example of this. Gears fans complain that the developers don't focus on the core. They add all of these gameplay modes and weapons that non-core members like, and it's to the detriment of the game. And there's some validity in that, in all honesty. Adding the sawed-off shotgun to Gears 3 pretty much neutered that game and the Retro Lancer, because those guns, they were so easy to use, everyone could use them. You could compete with someone that was better than you because these guns were good. The problem is those people, they usually don't stick around in games. So the Gears said, let's add these guns so they do stick around. It worked for a while, but then the core stopped playing. When a core of a game stops playing, that's the foundation of your game. When that foundation moves away, how's a building going to stand without its foundation? It falls. If Street Fighter was to come out and focus on everything but the core, it would have fallen. And Street Fighter, up to this point, has always been that game that focused primarily on its core audience. Most fighting games do that. Like, that's just how fighting games are. Even the Mortal Kombat game that people champion is, it had the great single-player No. Mortal Kombat's primary focus has been its core. You got to remember, the development time for Mortal Kombat 10 was much longer than the development time for 5. They were developing Mortal Kombat 10 last gen, and it actually did launch on last gen systems. So I mean, it was just in development for a longer time, and the time between 9 and 10 isn't even that long. They release games more often than Capcom does because, let's face it, they're backed by a bigger company. Capcom doesn't have the money like that. And fighting games are a niche genre. Like, in general, they don't make money like that. But again, like I'm saying, like it just doesn't make sense to me. I will never. It's like one of the greatest mysteries to me of this gen. Like the people who say that a fighting game isn't as good because it's not complete because it doesn't have a story mode, a mode that you're gonna play once and play never again. This isn't an RPG. You know what I'm saying? This isn't Bloodborne. This isn't this is not a game where you replay the story mode over and over again, or it has multiple endings that you. No, it's the same. You play against AI. The AI gets super cheap toward the end just because it just gets cheap toward the end because that's how it works in fighting games. You see a cutscene for a minute, that's the end. You're going to do that again. Why? You want to do I It's a fighting game. You know what a fighting game is. At the core of the matter, if you're playing against Smash Brothers isn't even technically a fighting game; it's a brawler. Who plays Smash Brothers for the story? Who buys Smash Brothers so they can play through story mode? Name someone. Seriously, if in the comment section, leave your name if you bought a Smash Brothers for this. No one does that. They buy those games to play against people either locally on the same screen or online now, because online gaming is huge. You buy those games to compete. They're competitive. They are truly competitive games. That's what fighting games are. It's just silly to me. And of course, if you look at the people who are loving Street Fighter V, who are the people loving Street Fighter V? It's the core players. The people who make content based on the game, the people who are going to tournaments and competing in the game, they love Street Fighter V. At the core elements, the gameplay engine, the balancing of Street Fighter V is amazing. It's leagues beyond Street Fighter 4. It's one of the most balanced fighting games on the market right now. It probably is the most, because I mean, Mortal Kombat 10 has its issues with it being 50-50 central and just new characters they add that are just broken, but Street Fighter V is completely balanced. It's a fair game. It's fun. It has hype moments. It's amazing to spectate, and it's very deep. But let's focus on the fact that it didn't launch originally with the story mode. That's coming in the future for free, by the way. So if you really still actually genuinely cared about the damn story, you're gonna get it. But let's hark on that in a fighting game. That's like me saying I'm gonna go get FIFA, but you know the campaign mode is I don't see the cinematics when I win the championship with in my league. This game isn't very good. Who buys FIFA for that? That's just stupid. You sound like an idiot. So I don't know. This topic needs to go away, and people just need to either not play Street Fighter because they suck, or play Street Fighter and learn and get good or something. I'm not saying that I don't want new people to get into the scene. Clearly, I want new people to get into the scene, but I want people who are going to get into the scene because they have thick skin, because they have competitive nature. They want to learn, and they actually want to get better. I don't want people to buy Street Fighter V because it's the flavor of the month and then trade it in. How does that help the FGC? How does that help fighting games? It doesn't help it at all. Buying the game to play the stereo mode and going to GameStop and trading it in. Why? Yeah. That's what's all. I will never understand the mindset of casuals. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just too old to understand people who think this way. I just don't get it. It's entirely stupid to me, to be frank. It's just really, really dumb. But what do I know? I just play video games.
Well, hey, Gary, do you have anything to say to add on to that point?
Well, that was an epic run right there. I don't know how to follow up that. So, I mean, my thoughts on it. I mean, there's two sides. Like, I do think people just complain just to complain. Like, people like to beat a dead horse to the ground. And you know, when this game came out, obviously everybody was saying, "Oh, there's not much content there, especially single player content. It's pretty much you just play online and you know, blah blah blah, that sort of thing." And to an extent, I mean, there are things they could have added to it. You know, like Michael made reference to Mortal Kombat and the things they do. I feel like there could have been, you know, more content there, like daily challenges, weekly challenges, whatever. Like they could have found creative ways to serve those people who just want to hop on and play by themselves and don't necessarily want to play online against other players and stuff. But I do feel like the game, I really like the core gameplay of Street Fighter V, and I see what they're trying to do, and I kind of respect it now, you know, like the FGC community, they're really dedicated, so hey, why not cater to that audience, because they support the game long term, whereas the casuals might dip off after a while, you know, they might stop playing. So, you know, why not serve the community that's going to give your game legs and, you know, long-term relevance, pretty much. But at the same time, the excuse they came up, well, the statement they made when they said we underestimated the popularity of single player, that statement specifically, I feel like is a little off, because we know that, you know, with all these games, they're all connected to a network now, and we happen to know that studios, they keep a tab on what's going on in you know, all the activity in their games. Like in Mass Effect, for example, BioWare has logs of the amount of times people chose to kill Rex, or people, they know what people are doing in their games. They've got statistics and analytics of what people do in their game because they're connected to a network and they can get these stats. It's on their servers. They know what's going on. So to say that you don't know the popularity of single player, or you underestimated the popularity, I think that statement in itself is a little false, because there are ways that you could actually track that. But I mean, they should have just come out and said, basically, this is a competitive game, and our aim for this is to serve the gamers that are going to keep playing it competitively, and that's why we've made a decision to limit the single player content. I feel like if you just came out and said that, that would be fine. I would understand that. I'm sure people would still be mad, but people are stupid. And I'm gonna make reference to another controversial thing that's been going on, the Overwatch thing. I find that stupid. I think people just like to complain for no reason nowadays, and it's starting to really get on my nerves, because it makes gaming seem like it's not fun anymore. Like you just have these people complaining about things that don't matter. Like just play games. Can we just play games, please? Can we go back to the 90s when we just bought games and enjoyed them, and it didn't matter what if like it didn't matter if you could see a character's arse, like if their arse was a bit curved. Like, so what? That's how they design the game. Like, why should you care? Like, just play the game and appreciate what the game is itself. Like, I just wish we could go back to those days, because people just like to beat a dead horse to the ground and just complain for the sake of it. Sometimes I feel like people forget what they're even complaining about, and they just want to keep complaining just because I mean, they've updated the game a little bit, Street Fighter 5, and there's content coming to it. So let's just forget about them releasing the game, without much single player content, and focus on what's coming to the game. Let's focus on the solution now. We know what the problem is. Let's focus on the solution, and that's what Capcom is doing. They're bringing solutions. So why are we complaining still?
What gets
That's
me
my
the most, to go off what Gary just said, it's not like this content isn't ever coming, or that this content is coming and you're going to have to pay more money. The content is coming for free. You're not going to pay a dime. It's just going to be an update, and then you'll have it. So basically what some people are complaining about is the fact that they have to wait for something that's free. Like, sit down and think about that for a moment. You're upset that you have to wait for something that's free. Well, let's break it down. Well, I don't want to wait. It should have been there when I gave them $60. You know what? That's a valid statement. Here's the solution to that. Don't buy the game until the content is there. Then go buy the game. It'll probably be cheaper at that time, and all the content you want will be there. It's like people are complaining for the sake of complaining. Like, oh, I gave them $60. It should be here right now. Why? Says who? This is a model that fighting games are trying to adopt right now. We've seen it with Killer Instinct. Like, it's not new. This is a model. They're trying to find a way of being modern and still, holding on to the core of what is a fighting game. And a modular release isn't such a bad idea. If they're going to give you the content in the future for free, like, what's the issue? It's like complaining about free school lunch. Like, what are you complaining? You're not paying any extra money for it. You just have to wait. Like, what's the issue? And
yeah.
At the end of the day, like, if you're buying a fighting game, why are you buying a fighting game? like that would be like me buying a shooter and complaining that I have to shoot people in it. Like, why do I have to run around shooting? Why can't I talk my problems out with people? The fuck? Like, no, you're buying a game for a reason. This is what genre of game this is. Fighting games are meant for you to compete against people. They're not meant for you just to play the AI. That's why they haven't worked on improving fighting game AI, really, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be competing against people. They're competitive games. They're like, fighting games and sports games are the most competitive genres of video games. They've been competitive from their creation. They will always be competitive. They're innately competitive, and they're meant for you to play with other people. You use the AI to learn the game to, develop strategies, and then you go against people. That's the next step to get better. And like I said, I'm not even saying Street Fighter V is the perfect release. It is not. There's been technical issues with the game. They've worked on most of them. Hell, Alex just came out, and they found a technical issue with Alex's release that kind of messes up some tournament stuff that they're working on to fix real quick. But I mean, if you're casual, that doesn't impact you anyway, so you wouldn't care. You wouldn't even probably even know unless I just told you. But the few mistakes they made, like I said, the trials and challenge mode not being there from jump, the lack of an in-depth dojo and tutorial mode being there from jump, those are legit single player issues. But they're issues because they don't. Those are things that are supposed to help people that are already knowledgeable of fighting games learn Street Fighter V, and people who aren't in fighting games but want to learn and get better, so they eventually can play people. Story mode isn't for that purpose. That story mode isn't there for that. Story mode's always been an afterthought, and it was originally put in fighting games for that purpose. But then fighting games started putting tutorials in the game, and you'll notice that they start putting focus on story mode because the tutorials and the challenges do a better job teaching you than the story mode does anyway. So you just want to see the lore, but you already know the lore. Just go on Wikipedia, go on YouTube. You can find the Street Fighter V lore, and it takes like 4 minutes. It's not hard. Like there's an online video there's an online machinima video that Street Fighter or that Capcom is making that's teaching you the lore. Like you don't need this to play this game. Like you're complaining about the one mode that's completely unnecessary for the sake of complaining. Like I mean, it almost makes you think that these people weren't going to buy Street Fighter V. I honestly don't think they were planning on getting it, or if they were planning on getting it, they weren't planning on actually playing it in depth anyway. They were just planning on getting it to say they had it, and then when people talked about another game, they jumped to that. Flavor of the month, whatever's hot and trendy. I if someone could give me a legitimate reason, not having story mode right now is to the detriment of Street Fighter V when it's coming for free in the future. If you can give me a reason not having story mode, because they've already added trials in the last update. So if you can give me in the comment section, I'll be checking out the comment section, or hit me up on Twitter. Give me a legitimate reason not having story mode in Street Fighter V devalues this game or makes it less of a fighting game. I will apologize and give you your props. But I don't think anyone's going to do that. What you're going to do is come up to me with more complaints. Well, I don't want to compete online. I just want to beat the AI. This isn't the game for that. It's never been the game for that. Like this, you want to beat up on AI characters in a fighting game? Then go get a beat 'em up game. There's literally a genre of games called beat 'em ups where you just beat up the AI. That's what you do. Why would you get a fighting game for that? Like give me a legit reason. I'm open ears. Please school me, because I'm admitting that I'm someone who's been playing fighting games forever. I've been playing 2D and 3D fighting games probably longer than any other genre, not RPG. So like I'm admitting that I have the bias of a hardcore fan of fighting games. So I am not without a lens. But I'm just saying, school me, because maybe there's a perspective I'm missing. So inform me. I'm trying to learn. Because honestly, this just seems really stupid. And maybe someone can help me see it as not as stupid. Because right now I see this as immensely stupid, and it makes no sense. Like, are we going to... And some of the complaints that Capcom's getting, like... I know I usually say this, because I'm not even the biggest Capcom fan, actually. But I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, they were influenced heavily by Killer Instinct. I'm going to go ahead and say it. They were influenced heavily by Killer Instinct. And people who play and love Killer Instinct weren't complaining about the lack of story mode. So why is that an issue now? Why in March of 2016 did it now become a staple for fighting games to have story modes? What happened? Who changed the rules? Somebody let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. I prefer you do it on the comment section because I'd like to engage in discussion. Let's do this, because I don't see it. I really don't. So school me, please. The same thing. Hey, Gary, Rich, if you guys know, let me know. Tell me.
Do you
Yeah,
know,
I
Rich?
don't. Hey, I don't know. What I do know is we'll see what happens with Street Fighter Five. I still haven't picked up the game, so I'm in no position to talk about what it's missing. Um, I will pick it up soon as I have a reason to pick it up. I don't think I have a reason to pick it up right this minute, but we'll see what happens. But any last words on Street Fighter Five?
No, I think
Yeah,
Michael A. He nailed it.
yeah. I think you guys both had excellent things to say, so I'll be very interested to see what comments are left regarding that topic as well as the others we've already discussed. So let's move on to the main topic of today's show. Naughty Dog released a statement last week, and they said that Uncharted 4's ending caused a lot of arguments during QA sessions that they had. Um, so I wanted to pose the question of what do we think about controversial video games? Well, controversial endings to video games, in particular with Uncharted. Um, and I must say right now that I do have something to say about controversial endings as a whole, but I'm gonna let you guys go first. So, Gary, how about you tell us first? What do you think? Because we've already been teased to say that this is the final game for Nathan Drake, all this other stuff. So, what do you think about the controversial play with the endings?
Um, I mean, I'm all for a controversial ending if it makes sense, like because Mass Effect 3 was a controversial ending, but it didn't make sense. So that's why that was so bad, and they had to patch it and everything because it just made no sense, and it gave no context to it just crushed our dreams kind of because we played these games, 3 long games we dedicated our all that time to, and they just kind of shitted on us by just showing us some like I don't know. I don't even want to remember it. But yeah, like I'm all for controversial endings. It just has to make sense. It has to be within context to, the what's happened throughout the series or that game in particular. And I mean, obviously the consensus here is people think that this might be the end of Nathan Drake, like he might meet his demise or something. And I hope that if that is what happens, I hope that it's done well and not just done for shock value. So it just all comes down to how it's done at the end of the day. Um, but I do admire them for just coming out and saying that this is the last Nathan Drake story because I mean they should have did this with God of War. Going back to what we talked about earlier, like is this that should have been God of War 3 should have been the last time we saw Kratos. But now we have to see him in a completely new mythology. So I mean, I think it's respectable that they're saying we're moving on from this now. This will be the last Nathan Drake story. But how they wrap it up, I don't know. I'm interested to see. I'm just gonna wait and see how they wrap it up. What do you think?
Yeah, so I will let Michael A speak, but let me go ahead and throw my little thoughts in for a quick second. I do agree with what you said that I'm okay with the controversial ending just so long as it makes sense. Now, when it's taken out of the context of something else and there is some confusion, I'm not a fan of that. And allow me to just say this right now because this may be a little bit off topic, although it's the same subject matter. Um, I'm gonna use a very recent example to get my point across. So if you haven't seen The Walking Dead this season, if you haven't seen the season finale yet, I'm gonna tell you right now, you may want to pause and rewind to the end of this podcast because I'm gonna say something about that. Um, Season 6, it had to deal with a lot of, again, like so many other seasons, survival. And the main characters, or the good guys as you want to call them, took a turn for the worse in the season because they just started killing people left and right. Some people they even killed in their sleep because they thought that they were going to be a threat later. So, as someone who is a viewer that is watching this, if you don't know, in the season finale, somebody gets killed. Now, the people who run the show decided, well, let's have this from the first person's view so that you don't know who the person is that gets killed. The reason why I have a problem with that is because when they killed all those people throughout the season, that happened very quickly and immediate. And you would think as a viewer, well, you're supposed to root for these people, but somebody definitely deserves to pay for this. So the fact that now people have to wait until October, which is about 6 months later, because the finale was last weekend, just to find out who it was that got killed is some BS. Because you shouldn't be robbed of finding out who got killed. They keep saying, "Oh yeah, it's going to shock you. You're going to be impacted," but you got to wait all this time. This doesn't make any kind of sense to me. I understand why they did it from a business standpoint because they want to basically have huge ratings next season. But they trolled fans multiple times this season with the way that they supposedly killed off Glenn. And, it's just ridiculous. The fake out deaths, it's just complete silliness. So to take this back to the theory of this particular thing having an ending, yes, I'm glad that Naughty Dog said that this could potentially be the end of Nathan Drake, in terms of the series. But, I just would hope that the ending is done in a way in which it makes sense, not controversial, because we need to have if this is truly the end of Nathan Drake, there needs to be a final end. I don't like the endings where things are left to interpretation. Take another example, The Sopranos, and the way they ended that series, where you don't know what the hell happened at the end because it just cuts to black. You have an assumption of what you think could have happened, and while I think those things are good, I'm going to say that for a series as popular as Uncharted, and let's go ahead and let's say what it is. This is, I want to say, the biggest franchise that Sony has in terms of exclusives. I think the fans deserve a proper ending. So if this is Nathan Drake's final game, I want to see a proper ending. I don't want to see something whereas, well, I have to guess what happened at the end. No, I want this to be a definitive ending. I'm not saying kill off the character. Maybe he retires. But it needs to be a definitive ending and leave it at that. Not know, okay, so I don't know what happened at the end. I really don't like that because to me, you was already told in advance this could be the end. So you need to basically have a full understanding of what happened and have a final thing about it. No, this is where it went or this is where it didn't go. That's it. That's what my rant would be about that because I think there is no indication that they're going to do another Uncharted. I think right now after this, they're going to probably try and do something with Last of Us or a new IP. But I'm about 100% certain it's possibly going to be Last of Us because that game did extremely well. It got very well received. So they may try and bring that back to some degree. But I just want this ending to whatever it is to just let's answer a lot of questions. We don't need to leave any intrigue as to how it happened, how it ended. But I don't know. How about you, Michael A? What do you think about controversial endings? Whether or not you think this game is going to end on a controversy?
I have no problem with them. I am 100% in the camp of people who believe that um, the creators have the license to do whatever they want with their franchises. So I'd be fine with a controversial ending, honestly. As for Uncharted 4 having a controversial ending, I don't know if they have the guts to do that, honestly, because not in today's age, people are entitled and complain about stuff that doesn't really matter. So they're gonna try and appease them. But personally, I'd be all for them. I'd be all for them having a controversial ending. I think it would add a lot of depth to Uncharted. And the story mode actually already has the story. Sorry, of Uncharted is actually a pretty deep one already. So I'm for it. I have no problem with it. I can see what Gary was talking about with the preface of it making sense. But even then, I would say be careful of it because what if it does make sense to the person making it? And fans just don't understand it because they haven't taken the time to look at all the hints and pieces. It's a slippery slope. But personally, I say I'm never one that's in the camp of what the fan says goes. No, fans are stupid. They don't know what they want, and they're stupid. I'm in the camp of the person who creates it, whether it's the story, whether it's the art or whatever, their direction is what matters. I don't care what other fans and stuff say. If I don't like that direction, I have the option of not playing it or not buying it and moving on. So for Uncharted, I'm all for it having, and who knows, maybe it won't, it might not even have a controversial ending. We don't really know yet. Um, but I'd have no issue with it having a controversial ending, not at all. And it would be fitting for Uncharted because they've kind of laid the pieces from what I've seen of the story. Like, this isn't Drake hasn't had an easy life, and for him to just ride off into the sunset, living happy ever after, I don't really think that's fitting for Nathan Drake. I think Drake's life is one that's been a struggle. It would be more fitting to me to see him struggle. Hell, I mean, I still don't like that the chick he chose. He should have chose the dark haired chick. She seemed like she was a freak in the sack. I'm about that. That's number one. Two, I like the dark hair. I like dark haired women. I like black haired women. And three, she just seemed to fit him more. But I guess maybe he didn't want to fit. It was see, I mean, I don't know. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this made the game bad. It was like a decision that made me kind of like go back and look at the hints and wonder why they were doing it. It was cool that they did that. So, but hey, like I said, him having a tragic quote unquote end, or that would be fitting for him because he's already gone through tragedies in life. Hell, you're told when we meet him that his life has been hard. So, yeah, I have no issue with it. I would think it would actually add characters to Uncharted. So, and honestly, I feel like they've done a pretty good job with the story of Uncharted. It's simple enough for most people to grasp, but if you want to sit there and nitpick it, there is some depth to it. So, I give them props for that. And I'm not even the biggest Uncharted fan in the world, as you guys know. But hey, real recognizes real. So,
Yes, real recognize real. Well, hey, I definitely respect that statement you made because you are correct. At the end of the day, it is the creator's decision as to how they decide to end this. Um, Again, I just hope it makes sense, but I'm pretty sure it will make sense. Um, we'll have to see. I mean, we really don't have that much. We're not really that much further off from finding it. Actually, about a month from today is when the game will be out. So, I mean, not really that much time until we actually find out how this all turns out.
who are we kidding? It'll probably get delayed again. Let's keep it 100. I'm not expecting to play Uncharted 4 until sometime in June.
Oh no! That can't happen. It's already gone gold, so it's not
All
going
right.
to be delayed.
You forget the game was supposed to be out. It was supposed to be out last month.
Well, yeah, originally then it was supposed to be out this month, and then they said,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, no, we need to it needs to be May 10th now. Um, and you know what's funny about that is that Doom was also supposed to come out at the same time. So Doom saw that game was coming out, and they decided to push the game out until that Friday, the 13th. So that was a very smart decision of them to get out of the way of Uncharted, because my guess is that any game that comes out on that day up against Uncharted, they have no chance in hell of selling copies. So I applaud them for that. I'm definitely going to end up getting both because I'm looking forward to Doom. I mean, I missed the beta twice, but I already know the game is going to be great because I remember I saw the gameplay video. So that's looking forward to that.
I was in the first beta for Doom, and yes, I'm sold on the multiplayer. It's like an old school kind of. It's like a slower old school Twitch shooter, and I miss those where it was very unforgiving and skill based. I kind of want those, like the Unreals and the Quakes and stuff. So this Doom multiplayer seemed like it was fun when I played it. I played it all weekend. That one weekend for the first one. I missed the second one because I was playing other stuff. So I'm definitely on board with Doom. I'm looking forward to it as well. So.
Awesome. Yes, definitely. Um, so yeah, Gary, any other final thoughts on Uncharted 4?
No, I'm just looking forward to it. Like, I mean, we've been hearing about this game for years now, so it's good that we're finally close to it coming out. Hopefully, they don't delay it again, like Michael A said. But yeah, just see what happens, I guess. I
Yes.
mean, yeah, I just hope the core game itself is good, because to be honest, from the trailers that we've seen, the story looks like it might be all over the place a little bit. And of course, they had the staff changes and stuff. That what's her name again? The the main writer that left.
You talking about Amy Hennig?
Yeah, Amy Hennig. Yeah,
Yeah.
she left the project, and there's been rumors and reports that there's been they had difficulties in the development for this game. So I'm just hoping it turns out good because some of those trailers I wasn't entirely sold on, but hey, it's an Uncharted game, so I'm sure it will be good anyway. And Naughty Dog
I
are really good developers, so I'm sure they can. I'm sure they'll turn it around
I
and
just
do
want to
something.
add the most recent trailer they showed, that TV spot trailer, that was absolutely fantastic. Where it's the flip of a coin and it shows you different scenes from the game. That was brilliant.
I
Uh,
agree. I agree.
yeah,
That was the best one. That needs to be their go-to.
yeah. So look forward to playing the game next month. I'm not too worried or concerned about the writing because again, the guys who made Last of Us, I thought they did a good job on Last of Us. So the game should be fine. It's just going to be a little different because I guess Amy Hennig is not involved, but she is working on that Star Wars game. So maybe we'll hear more about that as well later this year. But I think that's pretty much it for the Uncharted discussion. Unless you have anything else you want to add, Gary, are you all good?
No, I'm good.
All right, so that actually concludes our show for this week. We do apologize for the hiatus because, yeah, I mean, I was not around. We definitely will be back next week. Although I possibly will not be here because I have to go out of town, but I will still be here for the show. But stay tuned for that. We want to give our shout outs, special thanks. So, how about you go first, Gary?
Yeah, shouts to Wesley for listening in live. Um, Shouts to our supporters, M. Collins and Gority. I believe M. Collins won our giveaway this month, so
That
I
is
think
correct.
he'll be getting Dark Souls 3. So congrats to him for winning that. Um, and yeah, shouts to everyone who listens and comments and supports.
Absolutely, and again, I do want to congratulate M. Collins as well. I did email you, sir, so make sure you respond to that email. By the way, we are going to be having another giveaway this upcoming week. I'm pretty sure it's a giveaway everybody's going to will be interested in. So make sure that you visit the site and stay tuned for that because once this giveaway is announced, I can't guarantee that it's going to last for a long time. So you got to make sure that you jump on it as soon as it's announced. With that said, any shout outs, Michael A?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to the Coalition Knights Normal, the whole crew. Shout outs to Earthbender Charlie, and Riku, and Jamaican, people I'm always chatting with about anime and games and stuff like that. Shout outs to Wesley as well, because yeah, I've been chatting with him actually, just about Street Fighter stuff and whatnot, tournament results and character matchups and stuff like that. Vice Coon, shout outs to him, and that's about it. I don't really have much else. Yeah,
Cool.
and all the fans of the site, man, keep supporting the coalition.
Absolutely. And yeah, I also want to give a shout out to Wesley as well, who's watching live. Give a shout out to everybody who is going to be watching this show whenever they get a chance to watch it or listen to it. We appreciate the support. We do have quite a bit coming for you guys soon, so make sure you stay tuned. As I said, the giveaway is going to happen this week. I want to say maybe by the middle of the week, but just stay tuned to the site because again, once it happens, it's going to be quick. It's not going to be the way we normally do a giveaway where we let it last for a long period of time. No, so you're going to want to jump on this immediately. I don't want to get any emails about I missed the opportunity to enter. No, you definitely stay tuned for that. But shout outs to everybody. Thanks for the support, and we'll talk to you all next week.